Well, hello friends, it's Joni here at Joni's Journals, and I have another cute little craft with me video for you. And this time I am using one of Tracy Fox's new kits called It's a Date. And the kit includes a bunch of photos. They're older photos. I would venture to guess that most of them are from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it's all couples pictures. And it also includes some ephemera for drive-in movies, what do you call them? Dates at the diner, drive-in diners and such. And so what I've done is I've made this little upside down tag which features two of the photos on the front. And if you can see, I've tried to match the people in the photos so that it looks like them in both photos. And I've labeled the photos, I've written on them in ink, and I've written 1950. This is just as an example. I've written 1950 on this picture and 1967 on this picture so that it shows them young and in love, and then an older couple who've gotten married. Now, for the ephemera on the bottom of my upside down tag, I've included on this one a little box of French fries and a milkshake or an ice cream shake. I think this is more like an ice cream shake with the little ice cream soda even, with the little cherries on top, and it has a little straw. And in the center, I've included a little gemstone, which is, what do you call it? Not diamonds, but fake diamonds, so that it looks perhaps like a little wedding band. And I don't know if you're really seeing that on here. So what I thought we would do is we would make one of these together. Now, the reason that I did it upside down is, I don't know if you've ever seen some of the Tim Holtz makes where they take the Tim Holtz, the hard tags, and I can't think of what they're called right now, and they'll turn them upside down and they'll make a feature out of it using the Tim Holtz paper and his ideology things and such. And so I thought that it would be cute to do it with some paper. Now, the background paper is from... oh gosh, Prima Marketing. It's just an old pad that I had laying around, and I'm trying to use up some of the old stuff. And I've used some Tim Holtz ephemera here, and actually this is one of Tracy's labels out of one of her kits, and my little fake vintage cellophane tape and such. And yeah, I thought we would make one together. Now, this is a 3-layer tag, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I've got all my little ephemera here. Now, I did punch these tags out using one of my tag die sets from Sizzix. It's an old set. I'll link it in the description box below if I can still find it. So yeah, I cut out these 3 tags, and I cut one very diligently, and it was not easy. I cut it out of some cardboard, and to say that the die was struggling to get through it is an understatement. So I cut these tags from the fronts and backs of the same sheet of paper. Like I said, it is a Prima pad, and I will link it, although honestly, I really don't think it's available anymore. But you could use Tim Holtz. You could use one of Tracy's backgrounds. She has a few. One of my favorites is her patchwork background. So yeah, you can use anything you want to create your tag. So what I'm going to do, these holes are pre-punched in the tag. They're a part of the die. So I'm just going to pick which sides I like. And I was on the other one, actually I think I had pre-picked because I wanted a darker side and a lighter side. So I'm just going to glue the tags together, and we'll get started making our little upside down tag. Now, be forewarned, I am going to have to use my crocodile and put some extra holes in this. So yeah, and because I am using the eyelets, it could be an adventure. So yeah, I do apologize for not having been around last weekend. I had this whole thing all laid out. And in fact, I will be doing another video right after I finish this one. of something that I saw on Crafty by Tony's channel. And so I managed to actually get all of that laid out. And I've spent today, because it is Saturday evening, and it is nice and quiet in my house because my husband and my daughter and her boyfriend went out to our bowling alley. There's a bowling alley, less than 5 miles from my house. And they'll go and play a couple of games if maybe my husband's been struggling with a back injury, or more, it's a hip injury. And yeah, so we'll see if he actually goes bowling. But the food is good. So yeah, they went to hang out there, and I opted out because I have 3 videos I have to get done this weekend. And I don't know if everybody knows yet, but the new Creep on June kit is out by Tracy. And I have been working, again, for about a week or two on my day, which is day 2. And yeah, I'm going to be filming that. I don't think I'll actually get it done tonight, but I do want to get it done this weekend so that it's all set and up and ready to go on the 2nd of June. So yeah, that's something else I'll be doing this weekend. More than likely, I'll get that done tomorrow. So it's Memorial Day weekend. Are any of you doing anything exciting? My exciting adventure this weekend is actually staying home and being healthy for it. We went in the pool for a little while before everybody went out. And yeah, so it's just me and the boys. We're home. They've been fed. They've been let out. And so they're kind of relaxing. And yeah, that's about it for me. My school year is quickly coming to an end. The kids' last day of school is Thursday. My last day of work is Friday. And so, yeah, we will hopefully be getting more videos out. And once I'm away from the children, hopefully I will be healthy enough to get a lot of videos out this summer, because I won't be catching all the colds and the stomach viruses and everything that the little buggers like to share with the adults. But that's the trials and tribulations of working with children. Okay, so we have our tag done. I've glued all 3 layers together. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker to kind of imitate a Tim Holtz tag, even though those are a lot thicker than this. And I do have my ephemera ready, and I've picked out my photos, and I have my little, in this case, our young and older couple are going on a date to the movies, and they're going to go see Space Monsters. So this is going to be the little bits of ephemera as keepsakes on the back of the tag, which is my intention for this, to just kind of make it like this one, like a little bit of a keepsake. And actually, when I put the first tag together, I just felt like something was missing. And I said, what can I do just to add a little something to the tag? And I'm just going to bring my light in a little bit. And so I pulled out a couple of sheets of my vintage tape that I've made. And yeah, it added that little extra that we needed. So here is my couple for this tag rather. And I tried to, like I said, pick some that are close in some ways. And I just thought that this young lady's nose was a little bit slim, and hers was slim, and his had a little bit of a thing at the bottom, and his has a little bit of a thing at the bottom. So I said, you know what? They look close enough to being the same people, and this is the couple I picked. So yeah, so let's glue these down. Actually, you know what? There was something else I did to the other tag that I want to do to this one, and I have to do it before I put the pictures on. Now, I'm taking my sanding disc, and I'm just going to go around, and I am going to rough up the edges of this, because along with the fact that we want the first date picture to look old, I want the tag to look kind of old too. So I'm just going to go around the edge with the sanding disc and rough it up a bit. And then I will probably go back in with my vintage photo and ink it up again. So yeah, we try to take a little bit off and make it look kind of old and busted up, like it has actually been sitting around since the 50s or the 60s, which doesn't really sound pretty good for me because I was born in the 60s. I guess I'm kind of old and banged up too. But let's just rough this up a little here on the edges. And I think I might not go over it with the ink again. I kind of like it with the white showing. So yeah, let's just kind of bring in a little on the corners here. This tag die leaves a tag with a raised or a beveled edge, I guess you could say. And so I'm just going to use that to my advantage and rough that up as well. So we'll go over and we'll do it on the other side too. And yeah, so does anybody have any? Well, I realized that back up north, we would still be in school for another month after Memorial Day. Here in Florida, our school year ends in May and begins in August. So, which, I don't know, being a northerner, I just can't figure it out. I don't know why they would bring the kids back into school in the hottest month of the year. Unless, I guess, because maybe it's also the highlight of the hurricane season. Who knows? And yeah, I'm looking, the what do you call it? The weather predictions this year are for 3 to 5 more hurricanes. And so, yeah, I'm looking to move back up north even more than I did last year. And so, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. Okay, I think we've roughed it up enough, just enough around the edges to make it look kind of worn. And so then what I'll do is I've added my pictures on kind of an angle. And it doesn't really matter what angle you put them on. I'm doing mine so that they fit right onto the tag. You know what? I'm just going to wipe this a little bit with a paper towel. Just to get some of this dust off of here. And yeah, let's clean that up. So there we go. Okay, I'm just kind of putting them on an angle so that they fit. The pictures are, what did I do with my ruler? Have no idea where it went, and it's probably right in front of my face. But we can use this because this is what do you call it? Accurate. All right, so it's about, they're about 2 1/4 inches square. Okay, see, I knew it was right in front of my face. So let's see if my little mat is accurate. Yep, 2 1/4 inches square. So there you go. When I print my kits, I tend to print them a little bit larger than they're supposed to be. I just like to have the impact of a larger item, be it a tag or a photo or a piece of ephemera. So they normally, most of Tracy's kits come in preset to print at 92%, and I will push them up as far as I can go. And I don't want to push them up too much because I don't want to lose anything off of them. So I'll generally tend to go, depending on the kit, from anywhere from 95% to 99%. If I can manage to squeeze everything and without chopping anything off into 99%, I will do that. Okay, let's see. Let's try and get this one on here too. I don't want to cover up too much of her, and I don't want to come too far into the bottom. But I think we'll make it right about there. So let me put some glue on the back of this. So yeah, I like the angle because it just adds a little bit more interest, I feel anyway. I can't think of any time that I may have picked to do things straight as opposed to on an angle. Although I guess it is nice to have rows of things as well. So yeah, so there we have our 2 photos on the front. And I had picked out some pretty flowers from Tim Holtz Field Notes snippets. And you can just see they're running right along there. So I figured we could do the same thing on here. Now let's see, how can we put these flowers on so that nobody's head or anything gets covered up? And I think those will fit nicely right about there. I'm trying to give you an idea of how I did the first one. Of course, I don't have duplicates of all of the ephemera. I do have a ton of his ephemera because I just love it. And I also love the way that Tim Holtz always goes so nicely with many of Tracy's kits. So let's just kind of lay that down there like that. Okay, so now we have their little flowers. Who knows, he may have brought her a bouquet when he picked her up for their date at the movies. So that'll be that little keepsake. And then I just kind of want to add something. Let's see if I can find another little something something. You see here I put the little piece up in the corner there. And I wonder, let's see, does this one just, does that go? Yeah, that fits. It overlaps the photo a little, but that's okay. We can squeeze that piece there. I was going to look and see if I had something else. But I did pick these for their color and the way that they did fit into the tag. So let's see. Maybe we can squish it up a little up here into the corner. Yeah, that'll work. We can get that up, little piece up in there, like so. And then, again, like the little piece I did on that one, I'll put another little piece over here, like so. And then we can add our photos to the back. And let's just get that down on here, like so. Yeah, when I saw this kit, I said, oh, goodness, what am I going to do with it? How can I just like use those photos in such a cute little way? Because I absolutely adore most of the photos. I would say 99% of these photos just hit it for me, and I just absolutely loved them. So let's see, we have to write a date on here. So should we make this, I guess we could make this 1947. And I just kind of scribble a little here, and I, try to make it look like it's an older style of writing. Scribble in 1947, okay? And then here, it's not really going to show too much up at the top, although we could try. We'll see. Oh, well, it shows. You guys probably can't see it, but I can. And we'll call this 1968. I don't know if you can see that on there, if it's showing up for you at all. And then on the top here, I have the little 1947. So it's almost a 21-year difference. Okay, so we have our little photos labeled. And then we'll go ahead, and I've already cut up some of the tape on here. And I cut it on an angle so I could actually get it started. And it's not helping me any. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. Let's try it this way. We'll just go the big way and see if it'll come off. Yep, it's actually coming off the bottom for me a lot better. Come on. Maybe we'll just put on one or two pieces if I can get them started. I should have actually done this before I did the video. And I may just have to go away and start all this tape before we finish it. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to turn the camera off and come back. And I'm going to go away and I'm going to start all these pieces of tape and I'll be right back. You guys hang on. All right, you guys, I'm back. I don't even want to tell you how long it took me to get all of that tape started. And I even left my little bits here so that you could see what I was going through. I love making my own vintage tape, but that Tim Holtz stuff, that's beginning to look even better to me day by day when I have to do this with the contact paper. Okay, back to what we were doing. We were going to add some little pieces of tape along here so that it looks like the photos were actually taped down to the tag. And I'm going to grab a piece from here. And let's see, is that too long? Yeah, maybe I'll just cut a little off the bottom. I will not cut it off the part that I already started because, oh my goodness. All right, let's get this started here. Yeah, like I said, I do like making my own vintage tape. It's fun, and it's an everlasting gobstopper because when you buy a roll of the contact paper, you can get tons and tons of the vintage tape made out of this with your alcohol inks and all sorts of stuff. So yeah. Okay, now that we can actually grab a hold of our tape and add it on, that's what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going around the exposed edges, not all of the edges, but the exposed edges of the tape. And I do have 4 pieces left, so that when we do the back with our little monsters, I don't have to stop the video again and go ahead and make more. All right, you know what I think I'm going to do first? No, I was going to punch my holes, but I think that the ephemera on here is short enough that I can actually add it without worrying that I'm going to punch a hole through something I don't want to punch a hole through. Okay, so we have our little space monster here, and we have our little movie ticket here. And when I cut it out, I did kind of cut it so that the edges were roughed up. And when I do that, I just kind of go in and out with the scissor. The cutting lines usually, when Tracy does something like this, and now my glue's not going to work, when Tracy creates ephemera like this, she usually makes it true to form and leaves a roughed up edge. But just in case, if you're like me, sometimes you might cut it and you cut off the roughed up edge. It's very simple to make it look like it's roughed up if you just go, make it kind of jagged with your scissors, and you cut in and out and in and out, and that'll help to bring back the distressed portion of it if you just happen to, like I said, cut it off by accident. Okay, so we have our little space monster on here, and I think I'm just going to add my ticket like so. Okay, and let's add some glue to that, and then we'll add the tape. We'll add some ephemera first because I do have a few little pieces that I picked out here on the side there. And let's add our ticket like so. Okay, so we have that, and it looks like that. This is just a little fun project. Like I said, I did die cut out my tags, but you could create your own tag, just by cutting out a piece of paper and adding the corners in. I usually use a old credit card or store card or whatever, and I will cut one of the corners off to make a, should I say, what's the word I want? Template, I guess, out of one of those cards, so that I know that my corners are the same on both sides. So you can do that too. That's usually the way I do it. Like I said, I use a cut up old credit card. I think I'm going to add this piece up here, and we'll do like this, and we'll just get it all added on, and add that there, up there like that. And then I do have this tiny little piece, which I think I'm going to squeeze that in over here. Okay. So in this one, I did add a piece going this way down the side because I wanted to fill up that space. But this picture is a little bit bigger than both of the ones that I used on the other tag. So I think I might just fit this piece in there, and that kind of fills up that empty spot. Like so. Okay. And let's squeeze that in there. I don't like to match up corner to corner when I'm adding ephemera. I kind of like to make it look like it's a step down or a step up, however you want to put it. So there it is with the ephemera. Like I said, it's quick and simple. Unless you're like me and you have to figure out a way to get your tape started. So let's just add the tape over here, like so. And that fits right in. And we can add a piece, whoops. We can add a piece up over here. Maybe we'll do this one across the corner. Is it too long? It might be, but we can trim it off. Yeah, it is kind of long. So what I'll do is I'll just grab my little scissors and cut that little extra piece off here, like so. And oh, here it is. It's stuck to my finger. I don't want it to stay stuck because these are not my non-stick scissors. And then we'll just grab this little piece up here, like so. And there we go. Okay, so we have our tape there. And we'll just put a little piece down here. Maybe we'll partially cover some of that. Will it fit? Yeah, let me trim it off a little on the bottom here. And this way we can pull it down and we'll add the piece up here. Let's get this started. And I think I'm going to clip this corner off up here. Make it a little bit straight. And there we go. All right, so we have that piece there. Oh, I am going to have to clip it. I thought I had cut off enough so that it would fit on right. There's just this tiniest little piece here I'm going to snip off with my scissors. And there we go. We have our back all done. Okay, let's see. Okay, now let's begin punching our little holes. Now on this one, you can see what I did was, whoops, my French fries are caught in my little ticket here. Let's turn this around. Not my ticket, my little bowl pin. I punched the holes as close to the edges in the corner as possible. No measuring. I just kind of did it by eye. And let's see. I think I still left it so that I knew how far up to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge of my crocodile here, okay, and I'm going to make sure that it's kind of running up straight with this corner right here, okay, so that'll be the way I judge where I'm punching my hole, and I'm just going to punch a hole like that, and then on this side what I'll do is I'll take this edge of the crocodile, and I'll line that again up with this corner, like so. And let's see. And I'll punch my hole in here. And they're relatively about the same, but I'm not really going to worry about it. Now, here's where you have to make your decision. Do you want this to be the front of your tag, or do you want this to be the front of your tag? Because I am going to put eyelets. Actually, no, I didn't put eyelets in the other one. I'm not going to put the eyelets in. I am just going to use my little hole reinforcers here. Now, these, again, are part of the die set for the tags, okay? So I punched these out. But you can also use the white sticky-backed ones or whatever color they come in that you can buy in places like Walmart. You've seen me use those before. I'm going to grab my little reverse tweezers here and hold on to this. Excuse me, so I can put my glue on. And I'm just going to put glue around the whole little thing here. And I'm going to glue my hole reinforcers down. Whoop, what am I resting on here? Oh, it's my little hole that I punched out. And I'm just going to put that on the front here. Okay. Try to line it up with that hole. Now you will see that the hole reinforcer works perfectly on, whoops, I bumped you. Works perfectly. It fits perfectly on this hole here. And they are not perfectly sized for the smaller holes that I'm punching with the crocodile, but that's okay. So yeah, let's just do that like that. And I'll just put that one here, and I'll try to make it so that the hole that we punched with the crocodile is kind of centered in the hole on the hole reinforcer. And again, let's just grab this one and do this one too. And then I'm going to put them on the other sides. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit of a problem with the bowl pin. It took me a while to kind of get it so that it was laying with the thin part of the bowl pin, which I have here. Let's just grab one. This part doesn't always fit over on the center hole, so that, because I want the fat part to be the part that hangs down, so that our little gem or our little diamond ring here will move freely on the bowl pin, but we will do our best. We'll see if we can get it done. All right, and let's just grab our hole reinforcers for the other side, because I do want them on both sides. They're more of a decorative thing than a necessity, because believe me, these holes are not going to tear. This cardboard and this paper are not going to tear, so we don't need to use them for anything. Like I said, they're more of a decorative element than anything else. And yeah, let's get our glue. I was just checking the camera to make sure that I'm in shot, and I am. So let's put one over here. And I just thought this would be a cute little thing to do. And like I said, it is a relatively quick activity. Once you get your tags cut out and all of your ephemera cut out, creating the tag does go relatively quickly. So yes, that's a fun little craft. And if you've lost your mojo or anything, or you just want to sit down for something fun to do for about an hour, this is perfect for that. Okay, so now we have our hole reinforcers on both sides, and that's an extra little piece of my tape. Okay, so now we'll just start adding on our little, we'll add our little gem, and let's see if I can actually get this on here. I'll show you what I mean. You kind of, if the hole is far up, the bowl pin doesn't always cooperate. And so I kind of add it, and then I'll flip it over. I'm sure if you've used, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. Okay, let's see if I can kind of get this done here. All right, this is going to be a bit of a chore, but let's see. All right, let's try and close it. And, oh, there we go. Okay. I usually will try to stick it in upside down. All right, let's just get this. I know you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, so see, the gem will hang freely if the fatter part of the bowl pin is at the bottom than it will if it's the other way around. Now, in this case, it won't be that difficult to put the bowl pins on. And in this case, it also doesn't matter which way they hang, because my little pieces of ephemera are not as thick as the gem is. And so, yeah, so let's see. Do we want our popcorn to be hanging this way on this side, with our soda hanging this way on this side? Or should I do it this way? I think I'm going to do it this way, because I can put the hole in a little bit. There's a little bit more popcorn, quote unquote, on this side than there is on the other side. Now I'm going to punch the hole with the smaller side of the crocodile. And again, it doesn't really have to be planned where you put it. You can put the hole anywhere you want. And I'm going to grab my bowl pin. I do want them to hang inwards of each other. So I'm going to put the hole for the popcorn on this side and the hole for the soda on this side. So yeah, this way they kind of hang in instead of hanging in the same direction or hanging opposing to each other. I mean, you can do it whatever way you want. See, this one is a little bit easier to do. First of all, because like I said, it doesn't matter which way the bowl pin goes. And the hole is closer to the bottom of the tag than this one is. So let's make a little hole. I keep getting all this tape stuck to me. We want it on this side of the soda. So that's what I'm going to do. Whoop. Again, I want to use the the smaller hole on the crocodile. And I'm going to go down a little bit just so that this doesn't tear. So you can see I put my little hole there. And then I'm going to grab, I'm going to try and grab my other bowl pin. And we'll stick it through like that. And again, it's a lot easier because the hole's closer to the bottom of the tag. You could, if you don't have bowl pins, you could use regular safety pins. If you even have like a little baby size safety pin, that would work too. And there we go. Okay. So there's our little upside down tag. Okay. With our little popcorn and our soda and our trip to see the space monsters at the movies. And I'll bring over the one I did as my sample. And this is the one that I did without you guys. And here's my little, we went to the drive-in to see Invasion of the Nasty Space Monsters. It probably was a real movie. And the one last thing that I did want to add was a little bowl clip on here. So there you go. There's our little tag. And you could, of course, dangle something off the little bowl clip here, too, if you wanted to, if you wanted to add another little piece of ephemera. And it really, again, it serves no function other than as a decorative item, just like our little hole reinforcers. So there we go. I hope you like that. I hope you stuck around to finish it with me. Okay, so I am going to send you guys lots of love and big hugs and ask you to please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And we are getting to the 1,450 mark. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a drawing for a giveaway for a woodware stamp set. And also for a Simon Says Stamp ink pad, because I ordered 2 of the same exact color. And so, yeah, I'll be giving those away too when we get to the, not 1,450. Yeah, the 1,500 subscribers. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's been a long, busy day. All right, guys, so I'm going to say bye for now. Love, hugs, like, subscribe, and comment. It really does help the channel out, and it helps everybody else's channel out. I do have a membership on my channel too, if you'd like to become a member of my channel. I think I have to finish setting up the rest of it, but if you so desire, you can click on that link. I also have a KoFi shop where you can buy me a coffee, or I do have a few little things on there that you might want to purchase for use with other videos that are on my channel. So yeah, I will see you guys soon. Love, hugs, like, subscribe, comment. Bye-bye for now. Take care.